This conference will now be recorded.
For that 30 seconds.
Get me in trouble for something.
I've been told that these mics are really, really good.
Okay, so we'll call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Mr. Matthews, would like to do roll call?
Do the roll call, just
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, so Counselor Juliana Halverson? Yes. Counselor Sanchez? Counselor Foster?
Here.
Counselor Cornbest? Here. Anyone want to make a motion to approve the agenda in the minutes?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda for the June 13th, 2022 Public Safety meeting of the City Council of Roswell City Council, and approve the minutes.
Second. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go into our regular items then. Consider resolution 22XX condemnation. These are the photos.
Mr. Franco.
So got two properties on condemnation list that included pictures. Not yet had any word from the property owners. And the property, goes up on road, actually did burn. It was a total loss. The inside is totally burned. The 500 South Montana. Looks like somebody went and cleaned the back of it. It was way worse than the pictures, than the pictures that I turned in. And it looks like somebody put boards along the doors for people not to get in. But police have not received any contact with the property owner.
Any questions? We make a motion to condemn.
To send a full council to consider.
Anybody would like to make that motion?
Your turn.
I'd like to consider a resolution going to full council. Would you like to go to consent? Let's take it to consent. Resolution 22-XX to consent agenda.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, we'll consider resolution 22XX. To get the next city council meeting. Next regular item is consider recommendation to purchase new body cameras for the Roswell Police Department and a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprises Incorporated from state contract. Lieutenant Bradley.
Lieutenant Bradley here, and he's going to explain this with the situation we're in currently and what we're trying to do to resolve it.
So Madam Chair, Councilors, currently we were utilizing the WatchGuard platform for our camera system. They've proven themselves time and time again to be completely unreliable, untrustworthy. Customer service is almost obsolete with this company. They were recently bought out by Motorola. I don't know for sure, but my beliefs are that Motorola will be phasing the WatchGuard cameras out as they have their own platform that they make probably millions off every year. Axon is a company that we've previously used prior to WatchGuard. They are a very reputable company. They've been around since the beginning of body cameras, tasers. Axon bought out Taser and owns that as well now. They are constantly improving their software. It's reliable. And as of July of last year, with the new laws that were implemented in the state, body cameras are of utmost importance for the officers to have when it comes to civil litigation or criminal charges, anything of that nature. If the body cameras aren't on, the state assumes that the officers were in the wrong. So these are very detrimental pieces of equipment that the officers need on a day-to-day basis to conduct their jobs. With that being said, WatchGuard was unreliable. We were running 75 different cameras, and At times, even currently, maybe 20 of them will be operational. There'll be times where the officers will go to check out their system or their camera system, and it just doesn't show up at all. Or maybe 2 or 3 of them do, and I've got 6 or 7 officers ready to hit the streets. So we reached out to Axon, and because of the utmost importance of trying to get this camera system going, we'd like to push forward and get this approved with the transition back to Axon.
And Madam Chair, members of the committee, we made an administrative decision to move forward with this. I signed the contract with Axion for the 5 years. We're not asking for any additional money. They found the $74,000 in their current operating budget this year to make this first payment. The following 4-year payments will be they'll utilize their law enforcement grant money for that. So it's no additional funding is requested or required for this purchase. We just got to ensure that our officers have the needed cameras and stuff on they're out on the streets.
If I could just add.
Yeah.
What was happening is first of all, Axon priced themselves out the first time around. So we look to save some money. The biggest provider is WatchGuard. They're still the biggest. Their customer service is non-existent, to the point that they saw a newspaper article where we said that we're leaving WatchGuard because their customer service, and they said they come down Wednesday to work on our cameras, knowing we're already parting ways. What we're paying for is customer service. The equipment is technical, electronics. It's a physical job. What we ran into, and the reason why, and I appreciate Mike and finance and everything working with us, because we had dropped from 75 functional cameras to 48 functional cameras, and it was down to 22 functional cameras. And thank God that the city backed us up to get these cameras on board, because tomorrow I could have 15 or I could be less. And the issue is that the docking stations are not allowing the cameras to upload, and you have to move them around and find the one that'll connect with it. And so they're not talking to each other. And WatchGuard didn't see fit to come down, and they did it with other agencies in the state. They weren't doing it with us. Obviously, we're not worth the money to them anymore. We paid up front. We didn't have we had our own storage, so we weren't worth the attention. Axon will jump right on it. Built into the 5-year contract is upgrades that don't cost us anything. They'll upgrade the equipment after 30 months, is it, Chris? And the capabilities, again, we may have that interoperability where we can connect with other things like the software we were talking about in another meeting. I just wanted to throw that in. Chris has worked his tail off on this. He's been haunting me since we got WatchGuard to get Axon. And I'm like, they price themselves out. Well, it comes back to customer service and making sure we have reliable equipment, especially when the law is enacted. So thank you.
And Madam Chair and members of the committee, just for your information too, I plan on, because of the price of both this item and the next item, I will be taking these to the finance committee also for their approval. So my thought, that way I get 8 counselors here in the story. We get to council, it should be a pretty easy sale, but
7.
7, that's right. I forgot about that. So 7 counselors.
Can we do any cost recovery with the old system, like selling it to other departments that have it?
I would not try that, especially with because it's failing. What we do want to do is we're looking at tying our servers. We bought pretty powerful servers to handle it because it was cloud-based. We want to try and connect those to our license plate readers. The license plate reader company has disappeared in the night too. So what we want to do is want to tie it to a national database, go through HIDA and use our own service. So we're not going to total loss it. And the other thing is the cameras that are running now, we keep them as spares.
Oh.
We can use them for investigations. We can use them so they're not going to be just lofted. But the unreliability, I don't think they're sellable.
Okay.
My question is, and just to clarify, I see it's 74,000 for the first, or really 75,000 for the first 2 years.
Right.
And then we bump up to 98,000 for 3 years.
How much of that is covered with the grants?
Well, the grant, they get $100 and some thousand a year
Oh, okay.
for the grant. It covers the
Oh,
cost of it.
And that's where I was going to say, and with that, I mean, it can go to finance, but if it's not coming off the bottom line and coming off, the general fund, then
Yeah,
it's not
more information I can
more
share,
information.
the better I feel about it.
Not a problem.
Anyone else have any questions? Any questions from the public or anything? Right, entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to send to full council, authorizing the Roswell Police Department to purchase a new cameras from Axion with all other terms and conditions of the purchase.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We're sending that to regular council, full council.
Yeah.
Moving on, consider recommendation to purchase 4 new fire department pumpers. These and Gs say contract with state fire fund money.
Okay, Chief, I'll start this one. That's okay. And then these jump in here. If you'll turn to page 20 of your packet real quick. The third truck down there on the list says 644,669. That was actually a typo. That's 646. 669. So there was a $2,000 difference there. And that's reflected. And I didn't get this till just a little bit ago that you sent to me. We're these 4 trucks on a HGAC contract. So within here is those HGAC contracts. I wrote at the top of them in red ink which engine it is. I actually have the specifications for the trucks here with me. If you want after the meeting or whatever, I don't expect anybody to really enjoy reading through that. But if you would, I have them with me. We're in a situation at the fire department where the last 2 new trucks they bought the tower truck and engine 6. We paid cash for those trucks. Typically, over the years, it's more of a lease purchase payment, a 10-year lease purchase payment. The ones we have coming off, right, we make our last lease purchase payment in August for engine. This is where I need your help. 1, 5, 2. 2. Those 3 engines we bought 10 years ago. So we're needing to move those into the reserve status. NFPA and ISO, when they're doing their inspections and stuff, NFPA recommends that you leave a engine front line for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, you move it into reserve status for another 10 years. Now that truck's not running every day, so it could last another 10 years. We've got trucks that are at their 10-year mark now for frontline status, and we've got second out trucks that are over the 20-year list. In your packet, or no, I could sit in my book. So the truck that we're going to replace is engine 1, engine 2, engine 4, and engine 5. All 4 of these trucks are stock trucks. They're on the line currently. 2 of them will be coming out in August, and 2 of them will be coming off the line in September. So we'll be able to pick those up in Florida and get them back here. Instead of, when you do a custom truck, you're looking at about 2 years. By the time you design that truck, get it spec'd out, get it bid out, purchase it, they build it. It takes about anywhere from 1.5 to 2 years, depending on what it is. We're getting these within just a couple months. We happen to have one, the guy from SimSmart that lives here in Roswell, or Dexter, that used to work for us, call him, what do you got coming off the line that's not already sold? He sent us a list. We reviewed it, or the fire department reviewed it. We selected the 4 trucks that would work for us. These are standard stock trucks. You would never know the difference if you parked one of these next to the custom trucks that we currently have. You cannot tell the difference by the looks. When you spec a truck out, they'll spec out the engine compartments will be 22 inches instead of 20 inches. So they, move an inch here and an inch here and just different things. They put foam pumps on of them. One of the Councilor Foster asked earlier when he was looking at this, why different prices? The one that's the most expensive there, that truck actually has a foam system on it. So it has a 20-gallon tank. It has a foam proportioner that's already built into the truck. And so it's a little bit more costly. There's another one that has a 20-gallon foam tank on there, but it does not come with this one here doesn't have the proportioner on there that mixes the foam with the water as it comes out. What each of these trucks carry currently is a portable one where they just hook it up to the pump panel, set the bucket of foam down, and it draws it out and mixes it, proportions it with your flow rates. So anyway, to get with that, We're not just adding 4 more trucks to our fleet. We're getting rid of 4 trucks. Engine 7, engine 11, engine 13, and engine 17 will be going away. Of the 4 trucks that these are replacing over the last year, they've spent $108,000 in maintenance on those 4 trucks that are on frontline. So we'll be moving those to the reserve status. So they won't be running every day. You know, that they're all the way from 2011, 2012, and 2010 with 119,000 miles on it, which isn't a lot of miles for a diesel. You would think, but these aren't just driving miles. That truck may sit and pump.
The hours on those things, it's what's huge.
It's the hours. That's where we're at on this. This is another one of those that we've made the executive or the administrative decision to move forward because we're in a situation where we have to get, and they were available. Kind of like what we did last year with the police cars. When we found some, they said, if you'll buy them today or give us a PO today, we got the PO and then we went to council and ratified that decision. That's what I'm going to be asking here is to send a full council to ratify this decision that we've made administratively to these. Next month, we make our last payment. I told you on the fire truck, we'll have the new heart monitors that we got a number of years ago. We make that last payment in August. So the fire department is debt free. We're going to put them back in debt for another 10 years here, but there's no way of doing it. You can't. The last 2 cars we bought, we paid cash for. We saved up for years to get those and pay cash for them. But this is a way for us to get on a replacement plan. And the chief and deputy chief has been working on it. Told him, I said, let's get these 4 on the ground and then have a plan in place that every 2 years we're replacing 2 more trucks. The good thing too, if we get a truck into reserve at the year 20, the value of that truck's going to be a lot higher if it's lower mileage, lower hours on it, and it's still usable to some small volunteer department somewhere. We could potentially get more money for it than one that's has the wheels run off of it. So
How many trucks does the city own like this?
Total, we got 17. Fire trucks. And those are our engines. That's all the engines that we have, from reserve trucks to, we have a parade truck that we use for funerals and stuff like that. But that's how many total that we have. And these, like Mike said, 4 of these trucks will be going away. They'll be going to auction. They're the oldest ones that we have and just the ones that have the most years on them.
I'm guessing this was not in the budget that we all just.
right, but we're using state fire fund money to purchase these trucks. So there'll be no general fund money at any time. The minimum amount last year, I think they got 900 and some thousand for their fire fund money. Their minimum that they would get would be 669,000, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, 669. That's pretty good. Remember that number. So we've got to cover because we have no other payments. And, you know, we're looking at payments of $310,000 a year. So we're more than able to cover the costs through fire fund.
And they won't be making any of those payments until delivery, right?
Right.
October of next year, actually.
Actually, October, so a year after we get the trucks.
Oh.
Are you bringing this to?
I told them we could break them 3 times before we even start paying for them.
I appreciate the help that chief and deputy chief has come in for a few months now. We've had issues all the way around with our trying to find maintenance for our fire trucks. You cannot just go get a SE certified mechanic cannot do the maintenance on a fire truck. They have to be the EVT certification.
They're moving here though, you were saying, right?
Well, that's out to bid. That'll be coming.
That RFP's in the process right now.
Right. So
Hopefully this will be clear, be done with it.
Here shortly. But ever who can provide those EVTs, that's the key element here is that they have to be EVTs. And we can get them here and keep that maintenance up on these vehicles. I think we're going to, and keep them a good replacement plan. I think it will go a long ways with the fire department. So we'll be glad to answer any questions. Like I said, I got all the specifications here if you want to see them, or if you want to come by later, whatever you want, it's available.
Any more questions? Any questions? Any questions from the?
We didn't get to do anything. Take it all.
I wish Jeremy would say something.
Said everything.
to do with my hands.
Be there at the next council meeting. So I covered.
I always just play a tape at the next council meeting of mine.
And so the actual motion would be to ratify the purchase of, right, since we,
One very important part. So we looked at the finances of this, how we were going to do DFA. So our finance director contacted DFA about running through that process of doing a loan through DFA. The company itself does financing within the company. And we found that 3.8%, is that correct? 3.8% interest rate was very comparable to what we could get through the state and the time we can get it that quick. So on Friday, we submitted all the paperwork on Friday. Janie has reviewed it. She's been involved in the whole process of the finances of it. And we have submitted that paperwork for financing to the company itself instead of going through DFA, which would take months to get that process started. So to answer your question, to ratify or approve the purchase of these, either way, I mean, I'm good with it.
because right here it says recommendation to purchase, but we've already, so it's
Well,
approved.
yeah, but we cannot spend money without the council's approval. So if you said no, we would have to go back and cancel that.
Otherwise. OPO's gone out though, right?
No.
So either way, either way it's said it works. Whatever you want me to.
You go ahead. You're talking.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to send a full council recommendation to ratify the purchase of 4 new fire department pumpers using GSA contract and the state fire fund monies.
Second.
Any discussion? Any public input? All right, then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes to ratify the purchase of the 4 new fire department pumpers using GSA contract and state fire fund monies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next thing is non-action items. I think and I cannot remember who asked, but we were talking about the ambulance service and I said I'd invite KP operations manager for AMR to be here today. So this is Mr. KP. He does a great job. He's the operations manager for AMR here in Roswell. And I'll turn it over to him and let him tell you all about them.
Well, committee members, Madam Chair, thank you for having me. I'll just give a quick little report on AMR. First of all, we're glad to be here in Roswell. Everybody, with the exception of the 2 commuters that I have, everybody's from this community. They've been in this community. Most people have, over half our staff have over 10 years of service to EMS in the community. So everyone's real excited. AMR's brought a lot of new things to the table for us. We've seen a lot of big changes. We've been working hand in hand with the fire department and different community outreach places to be involved in the community. We've been real busy since we started. We're running an average of about 958 calls for service, with a lot of those being transports. We run 7 ambulances a day. One of those is a 12-hour truck. We're actually in the process. July 1st, we'll be putting on another ambulance. We'll be putting that crew on and we'll be running for interfacility transfers, just because the amount of people coming in and out of this community. Eastern, I want to say somewhere around 40-ish, 50 patients have come from other regional areas into Roswell for services. So that's good for the community. It's good for our people here, but it's causing a lot of us running out getting folks. So, but we've got a lot of things going on. We're up on our staff. We've got 49 people. 7 of those are Roswell firemen, and 5 of those are paramedics. So we've got a lot of part-time paramedics from the fire department helping us out, which helps us blend that services together and get that community working together. So but that's kind of where we're at. Just a short rundown of what we have. I'll open up any questions.
KP, you may tell them about the location you're operating out of.
Sure, absolutely. So we've got three locations that we have posting stations. We have up on Country Club, just there behind where Zen Diners is at. That's where Superior's office was at. We took that office from them. We have a location right down at First Street, Richardson, where you house right downtown, gets the central area. And then we have a station out south, which is right next to Dr. Winter's office. there in the Casa Maria complex that the county has. That allows us, we've got to have somebody south. That McGaffey interchange is, it's quite the havoc to get through the city. You could be stopped there at 2:00 in the afternoon time and be clear back to Summit Street. So having someone south. So we respond out of there, 3 different locations. We break the city at the north part from 19th Street North and then from McGaffey South. So that section in between. We've got 2 ALS units that are downtown, 2 down at Country Club, and then 1 down south.
Any questions then from anyone? Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
Skippy.
Okay. Department updates?
Got all the departments here. If you have any questions for any of them, their monthly reports are in the packets. That they're all here, eager to answer any question you may have.
I did have some for the police. I guess I've been seeing a lot on Facebook where there's been a lot of egging up north.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I saw that. Captain, I get a news strand too.
Yeah,
I saw this caption when somebody put it out, it was a Ring camera.
yeah. But I've been seeing posts on the Nextdoor app and stuff. It's been going on to quite a few houses in that neighborhood. And I don't know how, it's probably difficult to catch someone. I mean, because
All the same neighborhood, or is it all over town?
it's pretty much all the north neighborhood, I think. Yeah,
We can extra patrol it. We can load them up there until we find a little.
yeah. And the video that shown, I think Margaret posted it, wasn't it?
Dark sedan.
It was a dark sedan, I think, but
Let me tell you something right now, that's a lethal weapon if it's thrown right.
I just.
We'll float some patrols up there to.
Okay, and then I've been seeing posts too about the homeless downtown again. I know you guys are working really hard to get.
The, part of the midnight rules or protocols that they do is they're supposed to be shaking them loose. If they're not, have to be careful, you know, but they do. They give them, they have their own little 3 warning system where they talk to them first, they identify them. Right now, we have an actual push trying to identify them because word around the campfires is that we got a busload from another city. And they asked where they wanted to go, a one-way bus pass. We haven't verified that, but we're out looking and checking. As we come across, we can find, so how'd you end up in Roswell? What's going on? Kind of like a tourist thing. But yeah, we've noticed some new ones. And the reason why you're noticing them is because they're on the main drag walking around or West 2nd and they're animated. So, but yeah, the midnight crew shakes them off of the main street because that's our showcase. So we try to get them out of there. This is an eternal issue.
I believe Mr. Nebb's setting up a meeting right now with some stakeholders from town that are doing some of this stuff. And I know why, it's because you had mentioned it, so we were going to invite you and the mayor had to ask to be included, so.
Yeah, I know my daughter was on 19th and Main the other day and some lady was just laying on the ground, throwing a fit, just right in front of traffic. But there's only so much you can do, you know?
It's, you know, they're not supposed to beg. It's against the law to beg. It's against the law to give them stuff, but and they shouldn't be in traffic because you have distracted driver.
Yeah.
What's more distracting than having a human being walk into traffic to get money? But the problem is as soon as you contact them, and it's not the ministries here say, hey, if they're causing problems, use the sharp end of the stick. So it's not them. But what it is the ACLU will come on us in a minute. And the other thing is that, you know, we have to understand is 85% of them are mental health issues.
Yeah.
They're out there, they're doing what they want to do, and they don't want any rules. The 15% that need help, the city has all the services for them. You know, and we treat them pretty good here. They get fed 7 days a week. The weather's perfect. And the word is out. I mean, when I used to go out and ride with the guys, we'd get them, they say, yeah, this is the place to go. Come. But we try to keep them off the main drag because that's our place. We want people to walk. I mean, Mike has a team out there grooming the visitation area so it looks meticulous. And we want the same thing for our businesses. We want that. We have a beautiful center of town.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it's a constant battle to answer your question, Council.
Go ahead,
I have nothing else, Madam Chair.
guys.
There is signage in Albuquerque that they're using to post for the homeless. You might want to look into that, saying that it's against the law, so forth and so on.
I was going to say, they say don't feed them.
Like not feeding the animals.
Bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, because every city has the capabilities to take care of that indigent population. There's a reason why they choose to be there. They're making money, they want to do it, they don't want rules. Cities do everything they can. It's very frustrating because it's there. I used to be a town administrator. You have a fund put aside for them. And it's disheartening because you can't force them. It's,
But that gives the police an avenue. If you have the sign up there, 99% of the people can read. And if you have it in Spanish and English, there is an avenue for the police department to say, hey, here's a sign, you're breaking the nuisance law or wherever it is. And, just saying.
I always watch.
And we have our own sign department.
I always watch what Albuquerque does because they suffered 20 times what we suffer.
That's where you said the ACLU is going crazy. Yeah.
They have a field day up there too.
We can box ours up, send them up there.
Right, anything else? Anybody? I think we're adjourned.
Thank you so much.
Next meeting, July. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Boss.